Hello everyone and welcome to this special edition video episode of the Electronic Musician Podcast. What I'm showing you today is an overview and quick review of Garageband 08. It was released about a week or two ago with the release of new iLife 08 and the new iMac software. So I'm just going to give everybody a quick rundown. What are the new features in Garageband 08 and what some of the changes that we've seen over the previous versions. So when you open GarageBand, you will notice that the new project loading screen looks pretty much the same as our previous loading screens that we had in other versions of GarageBand. There's two notable differences that you'll notice right off the bat. The first one is that we now have this button called Magic GarageBand, which you'll see as the third item down. And I'll talk about Magic GarageBand a little bit later. The other major difference is that we now have a video tutorials button, which is actually very nice. You click on it, it'll open your web browser and will bring you to a web page that has video tutorials all for the new version of GarageBand. Now, after you select the type of project you want, you get your standard new project screen that we've always seen in GarageBand. It opens up the window where you can save the name of the song, as well as set tempo, time, signature, and the key. The major GarageBand window itself in your first new project looks pretty much the same as it always has. There's slight improvements on the UI, including the buttons and some of the graphics within the program, but it's pretty much the same. The only real noticeable difference is down here in the track or transport controls. You'll see for the measures, time, and so forth, just the LCD kind of effect that they have going on looks a lot nicer than it did before. Also within that little section there, you'll notice that there's a little pop-up window now that looks much nicer where you can jump to the different display settings on that LCD. Includes now time, measures, the chords that you're playing, as well as project info. Now when you open up a project track, pretty much the same stuff you had before is still in there. There's slight difference in the UI, as I said before, but nothing majorly drastic. Again, we have our classic piano roll interface, as well as the notation or flag or staff interface. The sample library is the little I button that's located in the bottom left of your screen, and again, it's a pretty much standard sample organization tool that I found actually is fairly effective for GarageBand. It's one of the better sample organization tools that I found for most music software. Now, when we load our tracks, one of the new features in GarageBand is that they now have automation and global automation for all the parameters within GarageBand. Previously, you were only able to automate volume, panning, and some MIDI controls. You can now actually automate any parameter within GarageBand. Right down here, we can see in this picture that there's master volume automation, and that's on the master track at the bottom of the screen here. You can also hit the little button, drop-down button, and select different types of automation or add a specific type of automation if it's not preset in there. There's also automation that is on for specific instruments where you can select the drop-down arrow for those, and you can also select automation for all the parameters in the instrument there. As we see in these pictures here, GarageBand has a standard piano roll and track and audio interface that it's always had. Here in this case, you can see that the MIDI or piano roll informations are the green tracks and the waveform data are in the orange tracks. Again, those colors can be changed to your liking as well. Now, one of the cool new features that was also added to GarageBand was the ability for multi-take recording, which means you can set up a particular instrument, have it loop on a certain point, and you can record multiple takes of that section or recording right there. Here you'll see that I've taken 4 recordings of the Hollywood Strings section, and here you can see that I select from the drop-down which recording I would want to use. What's even cooler is that you can actually split this track and then select and combine different takes. So let's say, for example, you had a guitar solo that you recorded. The first section sounds really good from take 1, and the second section sounds really good from take 3. You can split those up and combine and edit takes together. Very, very useful feature, especially for people who are recording using GarageBand and so forth. GarageBand also comes with a great new visualizer plugin, which is essentially a parametric EQ. It also has an analyzer built in, and it's a very nice and smooth, good graphic interface, pretty much standard EQ that you've seen around. It's a four-band EQ. Here we see an automation window that will pop up, and this is where you can set automation for your effects. This is in the effects side window. And down at the bottom here, you can see echo, volume, and here's the automation curve that I've drawn. Now, one of the interesting new features, which I'm not sure if I particularly like or not, is this called Magic GarageBand feature. And basically what Magic GarageBand does, it presents you with a blank stage, and you open up a different style of music. And what it does is it allows you for instant accompaniment for you to play along, edit tracks, and basically improvise. So you select the style of music that you want. Here's some basic styles here, and you can select a snippet or an entire song. What it will do then is that it will load an arrangement of instruments for that type of music. Now for each instrument in here, you can select them. So for instance, you'll see in this picture, I have a highlighted over on the guitar, and you can select different types of guitars for that and the pattern or arrangement that will instantly change to your liking. And you can do that for all of the instruments, and you can get some kind of crazy different sounds going on in there. Now once you like what you've seen, you can go ahead and load it up into GarageBand. It'll create a basic song that you can go ahead and play along to. And again, you can swap out any instrument even for yourself. So let's say you're the drummer and you want all the guitar and rhythm behind you. That'll work as well. And you see in this, an additional feature is you can break your songs up into sections now. So we have introduction, verse 1, chorus, intro, and so forth, which is just a nice, interesting organizational tool for tracks that you can isolate and highlight certain parts of your song while you're working on it. On the podcast side, pretty much not much has changed. We see there's an additional effects slot that we can load effects into. Everything else is pretty much the same and standard as it was before regarding the podcasting. So that is basically the rundown of GarageBand 08. I've had a lot of use with GarageBand, and I actually like it very, very much. In respects as being a recording platform, it's extremely accessible and extremely useful as a multi-track recorder. As so many of you might know, it's a 16-track recorder, so you can record 16 tracks simultaneously. Now with the addition of automation added into the new GarageBand 08, there's pretty much no reason why you can't use this as a full-fledged recording studio for just about any software. Audio quality is fantastic. The only perhaps major drawback is that you're limited to the effects list. Again, you only get the 4 independent slots as well as the predefined ones. But there's unlimited tracks essentially in the entire studio itself. And for $79 for the entire iLife package, it's a pretty hard deal not to pass up. Now with respect to it becoming a new digital audio workstation, adding the automation and the new, in conjunction with the piano roll, makes it go a long way to making it viable to work as just about any digital audio workstation out there. The only real drawback is that it perhaps has some of the deficiencies that traditional DAWs have, like Cubase and so forth, is that you will probably need to use an independent or external sampler and perhaps even a drum machine for composing tracks. Other software out there like Fruity Loops and so forth has all that stuff built in. But I'm going to go ahead and test working on a music completely within GarageBand as a digital audio workstation, and I'll get back to you guys on that and how that works. So I hope everybody enjoyed this quick review of GarageBand. If you're a Mac user out there, even if you just want to dabble a little bit with GarageBand, I highly encourage you to pick it up. iLife 08 in general is pretty great, and for the $79, it's hard to beat this price for GarageBand. When you divide it out for all the iLife software, it comes out to be $15 or so for GarageBand, and it's such a fantastic piece of software. Hard to pass up. So this is Soup from Serious Sounds and Electronic Musician Podcast, signing off.